Life as we know it has changed. Even though our plans, hopes, and dreams were placed on hold, this game called life is still being played. There is no timeout, halftime, or final whistle. It's changing, growing, and evolving, and so are you. It's not about being able to fulfill your dreams right now. It's about how hard you are willing to work to make them come true. And although we are apart, we are still playing a part together. Don't let the fear of missing the goal keep you from playing the game. So don't stop. Play on.
Good afternoon, players and coaches. Welcome to a special edition of our Engen Locker Room Talks. At Engen, we understand the challenge and daily struggles most youth face, and we felt that as a corporate sponsor who is invested in sports and youth development, it was important to address a topic that could assist you both on and off the pitch. By hosting the webinars, we aim to highlight the life skills knowledge that comes with being a sportsman or sportswoman, and cover topics that will equip players to make informed lifestyle decisions. I hope that all of you have found our locker room sessions informative and valuable so far. As I've mentioned before, the program was designed for you and aims at ensuring that during the time you are with us, you find value in the different speakers and the different opportunities that are provided from the comfort of your own home. While we can't be on the field, we still find opportunities where we can add value. I'd like to thank you for joining us on this journey and wish all of you much success and health as you continue to reach for your dreams. Remember, at Engen, you are number one.
Okay, hello again, boys and girls, and thank you very much for once again joining us for this Engen Locker Room webinars. We don't take the time that you're giving us for granted, so we're grateful that you're able to join us and so that we can share these important life lessons and life skills and tools with you as we've been doing right throughout this year of 2020. It's a different one. Of course, we can't be on the field of play because of COVID-19, but once again, we can never be grateful enough and thankful enough to Engen for making sure that we're still keeping you informed and we're still making sure that we can give you some tools and we can give you some life skills and some more information that you can use in your journey to become a successful football player, or even in life. If you don't make it in football, that's why we've got sessions about career opportunities, about life beyond football. There's so much more that you can take from this session. So please make sure that you pay attention. Please make sure that you take notes and do send us questions if you're not sure of something, because our guests today will also be able to answer your questions. So today's session is about life skills. Very important part of being a footballer. They always say that it's not just your talent that will take you far. There's so much that goes into it. And when you hear these sessions or when you watch these sessions, you'll actually hear a lot of that from our guests who always tell us that talent is just 20%. Some are saying it's not even 20%, it's 10% of it. And the 90% is what we are doing with you today and what we're sharing with you over this couple of weeks. Thank you to Engen once again for staying committed to youth development. And that's why they're the number one leaders when it comes to youth football in the country. So you can also follow us on social media. It's engen.sa on Instagram, with Engen_soccer on Twitter, and it's Engen Soccer on Facebook. And we're going to post all these webinars and all these locker room sessions, and you can spread the word and tell people to also go and watch. It will help a lot of people along the way. It's not just for us, obviously specifically made for us, but it will be nice to share this information with other budding footballers or other budding, your peers, those you know. Just make sure that you spread the word. And it's always nice to say that welcome, boys and girls, because we've got girls that are joining us for the Engen Knockout Challenge starting this year. They'll be on the field next year. And once again, well done to Engen for leading the way. You could have easily said, we don't have budget, it's COVID-19, we need to change a few things. But you've made sure that you remain committed and you've included women's football in the Engen Knockout Challenge, which is really a welcome addition. And we hope that other corporates will also follow suit here and just do what Engen is doing. So let me introduce my guest then today when we talk about life skills. On my left, I'm sure it is a familiar face that you've seen on TV, especially those who like their football or who like their sport. She's a regular on SABC Sport and has been in the industry for a very long time, and she'll talk to us about it. Lebo, Motsoeli, welcome, and thank you very much for being part of the Engen locker room sessions.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And on the far left, on the other side, it's somebody who's actually played at the Engen Knockout Challenge. Can you believe it? So if you don't believe that your journey starts here, then this is proof that it actually does start here. George Maluleka is here with us, plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. George, thank you very much for joining us and welcome to this sessions.
Thank you for having me.
I'll start with you, having played in this tournament before. What memories do you have of the Engen Knockout Challenge? Do you even remember when you played?
I do. The first time, the memories I have, I'd say banging a lot of goals. I was a striker back then.
Yeah.
I was a striker. I scored a lot of goals. I played for Tux, I remember. Partnering with the late Tumsan Masilela. Katla Khoshoro just spoke to him. He's actually a CA today. You know.
And he played here also?
He played here as well, you know. There's a lot of guys that I still remember that I played with. I mean, that's how much this tournament meant to me. You know, because it was actually one of the first major tournaments I played when I was at Tux at that time. So very fond memories, and I'm very proud to be part of this journey.
And you played more than once?
More than once. I played more than once.
Very interesting. Tournament football at such a young age, I mean, how important is it to make sure that you play structured, you played against other teams from all over the country?
I think it's very important because when you play with certain people, let's say your own teammates, you know, that is the understanding that you have with them, you know, their strengths, their weaknesses. The other part is your opponents as well. You know, you're gonna find teams that play differently, and with the structure, when you keep on playing different opponents, you know, you get a bit of an idea of the football game, you know, and the understanding, and it goes beyond that. It goes deeper than like we spoke about the 90% and the 10%, you know. So now you actually not playing the game, but you're reading as well, and finally having an understanding of it.
Very important. And also what's important is to make friends, guys, because you might be playing against each other now at the Engen Knockout Challenge, but who knows, 2 years from now you could be in the same team. So it might be the opposition, but also make sure that you guys get to know each other, because it's more than just football that we are teaching you here at the Engen Knockout Challenge. Lebo, I know you are a champion for women's sport. You are a big advocate for women's sports Wednesdays. We listen to you on the radio. I'm sure you must be delighted that Engen has come up with this initiative to include women's football.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about it. And they're also showing other corporates out there that it can be done. And for Engen to entrust that they will find as much talent and passion and dedication and whatever it is that you find in male athletes, you'll find in female athletes. There's really no comparison or division. And so the fact that they've looked at it and said we should go this route in 2020, I think it's really phenomenal. I'm looking forward to seeing, COVID happened, but to seeing the girls and the ladies really showcase their skills, because I know we have so much talent out there.
Talking about skills, today's session is about life skills. Why would you say life skills are important, and why it's important to have a session like this? I mean, you've got longevity in your career, and it's not just talent that took you there.
Sure, it's definitely not just talent. Life skills are very important, whether it's career, whether it is life in general. They kind of give you direction from where you are, where you want to go. How are you going to get there? What are some of the obstacles you might need to enable you to get to those to that position? Whether it's a job, it's you studying, you want to get to a PhD level, but it's the discipline, and the focus that is needed within your life skills to get from point A to point B. There's no way talent alone will get you there. There's people that have had the most talented pair of legs trying to play. I'm sure trying to play. I'm sure George will know. The most talented players. And you're like, but whatever happened to XYZ? But life skills, they didn't have life skills. Developmentally, they were not there. It's the certain small things that enable players to reach a very high level of being an athlete and then maintaining it that differentiates a very talented player to a George.
Does the same apply to looks? I mean, you can say, but you're beautiful, you're glamorous, your job is glamorous. I can go far here.
Don't even get me started about looks.
It's not everything.
Do not even get me started.
Guys,
I mean,
really?
look, looks got
This is
him
so right
everywhere.
Taking George.
No,
I'm sitting
looks.
right here.
You know what? Looks got him everywhere, and I'm trying to figure out how. I mean, you tell us.
No comment.
No comment.
But you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
Talent alone is not, and we keep stressing that, and we're stressing that for a reason, and that's why we keep having these sessions, because there's a reason for that. Dane Clayton was telling us in one of the sessions that he wishes he had paid attention so many years ago when they were having these sessions, and he didn't pay attention, and look now, after he's played, he's thinking, maybe those skills could have come in handy in my career. On that note, George, I mean, what do you wish you had learned as a young George when you were starting? Because your coach Pizza was saying that, these boys and girls are so fortunate to be in this position that they've got people in the industry, or people who've played the game, that are telling them what to do and what not to do. What do you wish you could have known, or you could have been taught?
There's so much, but at the same time, I was also taught a lot at a very young age. I was able to go to boarding school and left home at the age of 12. For example, and with that happening, even before the time, I mean, my sisters were actually by my side, through the build-up with me going there. So I was actually able to learn so much. So I was fortunate enough that I had those kind of people that backed me up before that point. And with me, getting to boarding school, it was much easier for me. But obviously, as soon as I got there, I still had so much to learn, because I was on my own, and I literally had to do every single thing by myself. So,
would you say it starts at home? Because
Definitely.
now we see when scouts come to the Engen Knockout Challenge, they also want to find out about your family, your family background, your social life, and all of that.
No, I was also going to add to his, because he says he left home at 12.
yeah.
I feel like I left home at 8. And it's the very life skills where my father would give me 100 rand and say, with this 100 rand, it's bus ticket for the whole month. The $20, then you could get a wimpy burger and chips. So it's those life skills from the age of 9 where you are given $100 and you need to manage it. You can't say mid-month it's finished, because you're on your own. How do I make a call? There's reverse call then. So that discipline from that age takes you throughout your entire life. So I definitely agree with him.
And discipline is a key one.
I was just thinking about the word discipline. I mean, she has 100 rand. And she knows exactly what to do with it. I have 300 rand.
Yeah.
And I know to get through the month, I need to do 1, 2, and 3. So discipline plays a big part in this stage.
So when you get that voucher from Engen of 250, we want to see how disciplined you are and how well you will use that Engen voucher of 250, because I know they like to give those away at the end of the tournament, especially to the winning team. So maybe we can give a voucher or two now to those who ask the right questions, and we will answer your questions, and we'll give away a few prizes at the end of this session. And you know what else is important? It's important to listen and pay attention and follow the protocols, because we need to sanitize. We need to make sure that we wear our masks so that we can be on the field of play in 2021. So sanitizing is important, and that's just part of life skills and part of discipline, because it can take you very far. And when it comes to football, George, what does football teach you about life skills? Can it teach you life skills? Because people talk about time management, and that you go to training at a certain time, and if you're able to keep time, then it will set you up on the right path going forward. They talk about training, how you train and how you look after your body. Does football have those elements where they can teach you about life skills?
Football definitely teaches you so much about life skills, because before even playing on the field, everything that you do is routine, and you do certain things at a certain time, and not saying that you're living like a robot, but you literally have to do things by the rules, by the book, and as far as football goes, you literally, in order for you to win, you do everything by the rules, and you finally get through with doing things by the book.
But somebody will come and say, but me, I'm a star player, I'm jersey number 10. I make this team play. Why do I need to follow the rules?
I don't want to sound negative on this one, but that's where we go back on discipline again, to say, I am whoever, I can do 1, 2, 3. Because as much as, Lebo did touch on saying, you have the talent, you have everything, but where is that gonna get you? You know, it's not enough. It's not enough.
It's never enough. And we could make a lot of examples here,
Yeah.
but without mentioning names, you better trust what we're saying. Talent alone can only take you that. Actually, I can make an example. Aaron Mukwena, former Bafana captain, played over 100 times for his country, went to go play in Holland, played in Germany, played in England, captain Portsmouth, captain Blackburn. He's got the freedom of London. And people will tell you that he's not the most talented player.
Yeah.
But talent is 10% of it. He was a hard-working player, and he did the hard work. He did the 90%, and that's why he went that far. Lebo, for you, I mean, you've been in this industry. I've even lost count now.
Almost 2 decades.
Almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
What is key to longevity?
Staying true to yourself, for me, has been quite key in basically allowing me to be in the space I am. I stay true to myself, and I am my own competition. But I also, because I wanted to be an athlete, you know, growing up, I just keep going back to the discipline, but staying focused on you and your goals. Do not be disturbed by the noise, by who says what, the popularity, social media. You've got to, that's the only way that I can say has almost assisted me to be where I am, to have the longevity, and I continue then to work on myself. Yes, I see there's other people in the industry, but we're not doing the same thing. We might be on radio, but we don't broadcast the same way. We don't speak the same way. I'm unique. I have my unique selling point, which any business will tell you it is needed. So I know it's something that even when I talk about it at home is carry yourself constantly like a business. I am very big on that. Whatever you treat it like a business. Yes, I'm going to be there tomorrow. Tomorrow what time? Location. Don't call me 10 minutes and then, oh, by the way, no, because you don't know what I'm doing. So treat whatever you do like a business. And every interaction then has a certain, I don't know, it's a give and take for me.
Yes.
You get what you give. And if you're going to go around, no, I'm the best presenter. You're not gonna you got the best player. No, I'm jersey number 10. Yeah, but you're not the eye in the team. And if you don't have the wingers, the midfielders, go play on your own then. It's as simple as that.
Play tennis.
Yeah, go play tennis, you know?
It's an individual sport.
Yeah.
It actually reminds me of a session that we had about wellness and health and nutrition. I don't know if you guys have seen it or if you still see that session. And the food scientist, Siba, was telling us that the input determines your output.
Yeah.
So whatever you put in your body, it will help you perform to your maximum ability. So I think that's what Lebo is also talking about. And on that note, George, she says carry yourself as a brand, carry yourself as a professional. Should that even start at the Engen Knockout Challenge? I mean, I'm 15, I'm 16, I'm playing here. I'm not professional yet. I mean, why do I need to act like a professional? I'm going back home after this. I still have to go to school tomorrow.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
Definitely. Already back then, when I started playing the tournament, I knew where I was going. So I knew that I wouldn't say I'm going to be a big deal, but I said, this is where I'm going. I want to go pro. And that's exactly where I'm heading. And she mentioned everything. You stay focused. You treat yourself like a business. And like you just said now, for me, this is my business.
Yeah.
You know, whatever goes in, I can be able to get out. You know, I can get so much from that. So if I look after myself, it's going to look after my body. My own body's going to look after me, you know. So for me, I think also family,
Yeah.
in terms of longevity, they play a big part because all they want is the best for you. And these are people that you spend most of the time with, you know. So they play a big part in that.
You mentioned that you knew you wanted to become a professional footballer. Does it mean you set goals for yourself? You write it down and say, I want to be here, I want to be here?
Definitely. Your short-term, medium, long-term goals, those help you so much. And people don't understand. They take it for granted, you know. They really do. But as long as you know that, okay, here's my short-term goal for today.
Yeah.
Even if you set goals daily, I mean, if that is a start, then you go on to medium, long-term. Because then you just stay focused and you say, this is my road that I'm heading to. And in order to do that, I need to make sure that I kill all these goals that I'm going to go through.
And how important is respect? Because when I think about your career, you mentioned you played here as a striker, and then you went to Ajax and you played as a right back, and then you went to Supersport and you played in midfield, and then you played all over the place. And some players might say, "But me, I'm not a defender. Me, I'm a striker. Why do you play me there?" But it seems like looking at your career from the outside, it seems like you're able to respect your coaches. You're able to understand your role within a team. It's not just about you.
I think with the roles in the game, I mentioned it in the beginning. When you at a very young age and you start playing the game, it's not about you just playing for the sake, but you understand. You tend to understand different roles within the team, different positions, and I think in the long run, for as a country, we need to teach our boys and girls growing up when it comes to football that it's not just about playing and understanding, but deeper than that, in playing different positions, because it's very easy for someone to say, go and play that position. Look, I'm not a right back. I could have said that.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll play. I want to play. Because I understand the role. I was even willing to learn to understand it even more because I needed to improve my defensive skills in that position. So
it's never too late to learn if you're
Yeah.
willing to learn. It applies on and off the field, guys. What we are saying here, you can use it on the field. You can even use it off the field of play. Lebo, I know you prepared a presentation for us and all
I
of that.
didn't. Oh, guys, come on.
But I saw it. I
Yeah.
saw a little bit of it, and you mentioned something about standing out.
I did.
What exactly do you mean by that?
I did, but I also want to jump on that learning bit. In going to the standing out,
Yeah.
you have to have the ability to always be open to learning. There's no way you can sustain anything without the ability to keep an open mind. You don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. You might have the expertise and the experience, but in order to evolve and develop, you've got to have an open mind to constantly learn. If coach says, at this very young age, playing hockey, my coach said last year I must play a winger. I was much smaller, and I was just like, oh, this coach, a winger. I'm like, but I'm a left half, play wing. And I was like, yo, they asking from manna from me. But I had to evolve. I can't say yes, but I'm this old, and this is always have an open mind to learn and develop. And it comes back to what was your question about standing out? Be unique.
Yes. That's
Be
what you
unique,
said.
man. There's so many of us with different capabilities, abilities, and needs and wants. Be unique to be yourself. And it's exactly that which a brand will see and want to associate with a coach might see from a random game that you didn't think someone was watching that might want to pick that. Actually, you did this so well as a player when you were 14, and I think it's something you can develop. Meanwhile, you thought, no, but I'm a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
There's many goalkeepers who've gone from the back to the front, So be unique and don't be afraid to be different from anybody else. That which makes you unique makes you stand out.
yes.
Talking about that, 2 seasons ago at the Engen Knockout Challenge, some of you who were there will know
Yeah.
the story. If you were not there, you won't believe me. There was a game, I think Paris was playing Highlands Park or Tax, I can't remember. It was 0-0. Last minute, Paris had a free kick outside the box. Guess who came to take it?
Ah.
The goalkeeper. The goalkeeper came and he scored.
Wow.
And Paris advanced to the semi-finals of that match. It was unbelievable. And the Paris coaches were saying, but this goalkeeper practices free kicks at training. And we knew that we could trust him. So don't be limited to being a goalkeeper. Stand out like Lebo says. If you think you can take free kicks, go ahead and put those free kicks in the back of the net, guys. But what's most important about what we've just said is that you need to listen. You need to respect your coaches. Because like I was telling you, even at a young age, she's playing hockey, but she's being moved around different positions. She can say, but do you know who I am? I'm on TV. Why must I move around? But she listens to the coaches. George listens to the coaches. That's why he can play different positions because he knows that's what the team needs. And Lebo, on that note of coaches telling you what to do,
Yeah.
you know where I'm going with this,
Yeah,
right?
I'm just like,
So what you boys and girls might not be aware of is that she's actually a qualified coach.
Yeah.
She's a qualified football coach with a license, with a certificate
Yeah.
to prove it. And I think it goes back to about you can never know enough. You're willing to learn. Maybe you can share with us, why did you decide to embark on this journey?
I think I wanted to understand the technicalities of what goes behind the mind of a coach. I always thought I was a player. I'm an athlete at heart, But and sometimes you question some of these decisions. But why would he take out George and put Lebo in when George was having a good game? Because we all coaches from the couch. And I wanted to have a different understanding of football. And when it comes to the C license, or now the CAF C diploma, there's so much, what is it, medicine or medical understanding that goes behind certain things. And it's an area that I then, after studying, and I thought, oh my gosh, now I'd really like to take a left and study this further. And it just sets you apart on the football pitch. If you're a touchline and I'm chatting to Pizzo,
Yes.
when I say, but what necessitated you putting a player X as opposed to a player 1? Because in the previous match, player X distributed XYZ. Immediately they say, now you're speaking like a coach. I'm like, okay. Because usually, even if you know, sadly, because you're a woman, it's like, what do you know? It doesn't matter if you've been in the industry for long. But sadly, we still get asked, but she's just a pretty face. What does she know? So if you're taking time out, and it's a lot of sacrifice, it's a lot of time, Tabiso, because you're not going to work. I'm not seeing family that time. You constantly have to be there for those classes and exams. They know it doesn't come easy to get that license. So, yeah.
So it goes for the coaches also. You're never too old to learn, guys.
Yeah.
I keep making an example about Coach Pizzo, but you mentioned him. He was also telling us that he's actually learning the sports science of things now, because they won the Champions League. He's been invited to this CAF seminars, and he's learning about the sports science things. So even as coaches, we can empower ourselves here. We can make sure that we study first aid. You know what to do when somebody faints, or even if it's not on the field of play in your community, it will go and help you a long way. And I think that's part of life skills that we are talking about today. The other part of life skills, George, is money a part of life skills? Because they'll tell you that footballers make a lot of money, or if you look after yourself well, it can be rewarding and you can make a lot of money. But it feels like we don't have enough of those conversations about how to handle your money. Is that an important part of life skills, or is it just a by the way?
Definitely. Definitely. We spoke about it earlier on. At a young age, you have $100.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the same example.
Aha.
You have $100, you have $300. That's the money you have for the month.
Yeah.
Already you know what needs to be done with it. And whatever you left, that's up to you. Go buy yourself an ice cream or a burger. But already that's financial management. And as a teenager already. So now you can imagine if you play professionally, and now you're getting much, much more, and you know how to manage that. I know it's different amounts, but you have a bit of an idea, of how and what to do first. Do the important things first. Whatever happens after that, that's when you can start.
And when you sign for a club, do they have sessions about life skills, or is it up to you to equip yourself with these life skills?
When you sign with the club, I think some clubs take part in life skills, financial management, and all of those. Even with interviews, they make sure that, okay, this player is our brand, and they have our brand to represent. So we need to make sure that everything is intact, and they need to know what to say, when to say, all of that, and who to say it to, because it's a big brand, and it's all about brand. But the clubs, I've only played for 4 clubs, I think. Ajax, Supersport, Chiefs, Sundowns now. Professionally, 4 clubs, yes. I thought it was more. That's what I was
Technically, it's 3. Have you played for Sundowns yet? Okay.
If you think about it, I have, but it was a friendly
Okay.
during,
Okay.
So, yes, I have. But,
So you see, everything is linked, guys, from life beyond football, from career opportunities, from life skills, all these sessions, from media training, because we even had a session about media training this year with these Engen workshops and these Engen webinars. Like George said, some clubs give you media training, but some don't, and that's why we felt it was important for you to just understand what goes on, what the media wants from you, how you can handle yourself in front of the cameras, because also if you start getting used to the cameras or doing interviews at a young age, you'll be more comfortable as you go along. And I'm sure you'll pick that up in our session about media training. And you don't have to speak in English all the time. If you want to speak in your language, be comfortable to speak in your language. But let's focus on life skills, which is a part of it. Lebo, you mentioned passion over popularity.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
already mentioned it earlier on, but I wanted you to expand on that. What is passion over popularity?
It doesn't matter if you are popular or not. That's not going to pay nobody's bills unless it goes into an influential space. But even there, then it goes back to how you're carrying yourself within that space. But there's no way I got where I am because of popularity. Absolutely no way. From where I started, I was a tomboy, zero makeup, zero weaves. When everybody was getting excited over Twitter, I didn't have a Twitter account. I'm very new on Instagram. And for me, I'm saying it's no big deal, but I understand the brands that I'm associated with in this current age, it's a big deal. But my passion for what I do has led me to where I am. Forget about how many followers you have and how many whatever. Focus on your passion, because that will put food on the table. That will put a beautiful roof over your head, give you that fancy car, make sure your family's fed. That passion will be what wakes you up in the middle of the night thinking, maybe I should try and do this and try and do that differently. Not whether you've got 10 likes or 100,000 likes. Forget about popularity, because that's not going to do anything for you.
Okay,
Yeah.
lesson for the day. Passion over
Yeah.
popularity. I'll make another example from the Engen Challenge because I've been involved for so long. So there's a team called Harmony Academy, Virginia Academy from the Free State. I think they've won it 10 times in the Free State. One year, I think it was 2016, they brought this team, and this team was so good. And everybody said, watch out for jersey number 15, Teboho Mokoena. That's his name. But playing with Teboho Mokoena, there was another jersey number 10, and he was the star of the team. Everybody was raving about him, about how he touches the ball, how he does the shibobo. But the coaches kept saying, watch Teboho Mokoena as he grows along this tournament. And you could see that he wasn't fancy, he wasn't flashy, but he was hardworking. He listened to the coaches. He knew what to do without the ball. He even had his t-shirt tucked in, Teboho Mokoena, and everybody was laughing at him. But look at how far he's gone now. He's played for SuperSport. He's played for the national teams. And just 3 years ago or 2 years ago, he was at the Engen Knockout Challenge. I'm not sure what happened to the jersey number 10. I hope he's still playing football. But you could just see the different elements there, that if you combine everything and you become a complete player, I think it can take you so far. Another sensitive one, George, when it comes to players, and I know Dane Clayt raised this, is education. Dane Clayt was telling us he's good at accounting at school, and he wishes that he had used opportunities to study when he was in football. Do you agree that it's also an important part of it, even when you're playing? If you can, you should study, you should equip yourself with education?
Definitely. I still kick myself today. I'm looking to study as well right now, because my highest education is metric. I tried, I really did, but at that time I was still, when I got my first contract, I was still in metric,
Sure.
and I even had to take off training. And for me, I was so excited to go and play. I'm like, my parents was like, no, you need to focus on school. Make sure you get this done, and when you're done here, you're gonna go to varsity. And I was fortunate enough because I was on a bursary. So now you can imagine. Now my parents are like, my man, it's a lifetime opportunity. It's not everyone, especially from where we are coming from as a family, that gets this opportunity. Now you better make sure that you use it and grab it with both hands. And I was still at SuperSport. They were training at TUT. So they were like, you can study here or at Tuks, Pretoria University, it's your choice. But with all the traveling, it was very difficult. Very, very difficult. Till today. For the past, I don't know how many years, my parents have been on my back. They're still on my back today. But I know I'm going to end up, but it's very important.
And there are opportunities when you're in football, the clubs to tax offer you a bursary or something. They say you can study
It's
while
possible,
playing.
you can study while playing. I know Usboniso Kakla as well.
Yes.
He was doing that while playing. You could see in camp, and the guys would give him stick about it. Like, oh, you got your books or whatever. Like, okay, guys, doesn't matter. Carry on. Passion over popularity. So
that's an interesting example that you make of Sponiso Kakla, guys. And remember the name, because I actually interviewed him. So I've got a radio show, by the way. I'm not just an MC for the Engen Knockout Challenge. And Sponiso Kakla is studying law. and I think it's a second degree.
Yes.
And he says the reason that he's studying law is because he wants to go back and fight a case that he had at a club where he signed a contract, and then 2 months later the club said, no, this contract is not valid, and they're letting you go. And he's got the paper that he signed a contract, and he says the reason he's studying law is he wants to make his own case a case study, and he wants to go back and make sure that he wins that case, whether it takes him 5 years or whether it takes him 10 years. But there's a reason that he's studying, and I hope it goes well for him, and we're going to follow his progress, and we're going to see how far he takes it also. Lebo, we've got women for the first time at the Engen Knockout Challenge. I know there are a lot of stereotypes you've already mentioned in your industry, in your career. When you're a woman, they think you're just there because you're pretty face, or you're just there because you're a woman. What are the challenges that some of the women that are joining us at the Engen Knockout Challenge can expect, or what can they what can you prepare them for, and mentally how should they be prepared for these challenges?
I think mentally they shouldn't look at themselves as any different from the gents that are going to be there. You love football, it's a sport. I don't say woman footballers, I say athlete.
Yeah.
You're an athlete, beginning, end, that's it. The only thing that's different is your gender, and that's about it. So how to prepare for the Engen Knockout tournament for the ladies that's up and coming next year is just to do what you love. Just showcase your skills, set yourself apart from everybody else by being the best that you can be, and don't think any different from the male side of things, because this is the first tournament that I've also seen that they are not differentiating between what the boys get or what the girls get, and very often you get a lot of differences. So the fact that you're in a place where everybody's given an equal platform to perform, guys, just go and do it. Perform. You don't know who's watching. There could be some coach there. You could be playing in the National Women's League. It could end very well.
George, you want to add to that?
I actually in my teens as well, I think that was before I went to Tux and Super Sport Development. I actually played with 3 of the girls that ended up playing for Banyana Banyana.
Wow.
They were playing with boys.
That's awesome.
I swear, which is
wow.
It was
Was it Shotty?
the captains.
Amanda. Or
No,
Janine.
Janine.
Janine,
I played with Janine. There was a goalkeeper, Mandy.
Yeah.
Mandy. There was Kylie. I think her name was Kylie.
Kylie, yeah. Kylie
Yes.
plays, yeah.
I played with
And they're really good. Those are 3 outstanding players.
competitive
Yeah,
soccer. They were playing with
you see?
boys. Like for them it was nothing.
So guys, it's not us and them.
Yeah.
We are all players, we are all athletes, and what's important is that please let's also support the girls when they are playing. Like you go out and you cheer for your team or for the other team that you know, maybe from the same area. Let's do the same for the girls. Let's make sure that we make them feel welcome because they belong here at the Engen Knockout Challenge. It is long overdue. And I think they'll add more spark to this tournament. You know, sometimes you watch games and you don't see goals at Engen because you boys are too serious. You want to play tactics and it's 0-0 and all of that, and there are no goals. So maybe we'll see a lot of excitement when it comes to the ladies, and we are looking forward to seeing you on the field of play in 2021. It's a big one. It's a milestone, Engen. We don't take it for granted that you've included women's football as part of this. As we wrap up, George, you touched on family earlier on. And what's been consistent about your career is that even as you've made it as a professional, I mean, you're not in the news for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You still remain committed.
That's
You're
why I
still
like that.
a family man. You are proud to say that you are a family man. Does that also help you maybe in your career just to find the balance? Because I can imagine there are a lot of distractions when you play for the Chiefs or a Sundowns.
Oh, what distractions?
Hey,
Anybody
a lot
say
of
distractions?
What distractions? No, not here. You know, I think for me, my wife has been there. She has been there from the start. We were tucked together. She was a swimmer. So she was there before anything, you know, all of this. So, and we're here now. We have 2 beautiful kids. And yeah, I mean, I don't know even. I don't even know what to say. You know.
I know what to say.
He's blushing. Look at him. Oh man.
I know.
Yeah.
And the reason we mention family, guys, is that you never know who's watching. Lebo said it. The other year, we were busy playing Engen, and then boom, Coach Maluleka was there. He was coaching the under-17s at the time. Nobody knew he was there. If I knew he was there, I would have announced him, obviously. But I didn't know he was there. And from that Engen Knockout Challenge, he picked I think, 7 or 8 players for his
Wow.
under 17 team. Grant Magerman was playing in that tournament. There were a lot of players that were playing in that tournament and they were picked. That's why they say you never know who's watching. And with the scouts that come to the Engen Knockout Challenge, I actually had a chat with one of them. When they scout for a player, they don't just look at your talent. Some scouts will follow you home on a Friday night to actually see, do you go home and do you sleep on a Friday? Or do you go out here and come back at midnight and all of that? So discipline is very important. How you handle yourself on and off the field is very important. Even Arsene Wenger does that actually. He follows the player from home, from training to home, just to see how they behave. So you never know who is watching, guys. Always be at your best behavior. If you want to tuck in there, tuck in your kids. You don't have to, but if you want to tuck in, don't be shy. Tuck in, because it's very important. You never know who's watching. I'm sure you'll agree, Coach.
I know, but I mean, don't let coaches be following players home now. Like,
Yeah,
I'd be
I know.
very creeped out if you're gonna follow me
no,
home.
no.
But I know what you mean. I'm just.
And the trick is that you don't even know that they're following you.
Oh
You don't
gosh,
even know.
no!
Like somebody's watching you and you don't know. You think,
Tell me so,
I've played and I've
stop.
finished. I promise you.
You're being creepy on us.
But like for me,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you. I always have this thing that you think you're alone, but
Yeah.
there's always someone watching.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this is something that I've
Yeah.
had. Like,
Someone
in my
is
head.
monitoring.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
someone that you think, you're not alone, my man. Someone is there. Always. This is something that I've always had. I don't know if maybe it's paranoia. I don't know, but
Big Brother is always watching.
You never know who's watching, and look how far it's taken him
Yeah.
just to have that
Yeah.
thing that, hey, somebody's
Yeah.
watching, and he's played for all the top clubs. As we wrap up, Lebo, I just want us to talk about just social media, because it's a new aspect that's come in, and I think it also
You
becomes,
can't ask me about social media. I'm like the least social media person.
but which could be a good thing then, because
Okay.
you don't overexpose yourself on social media.
Sure.
Why is it also important just to make sure that you put the right messages and you control your social
I
media?
love my privacy. I really do. I think I there's so much that I get from my privacy that I don't think the world needs to know. They see enough of everybody who's all over. And I don't even post a lot of my work. I just feel like unless you must post and you feel the need to, how bad? It's okay. But I like not overexposing myself. I've seen what that can do to someone. I see how how players or athletes or people in our industry, because it's all the same really, can get so lost when someone says, yeah, but you were wearing something that you shouldn't be wearing. Then that becomes a topic, and then other people start saying, yeah, but last week you were wearing this week you said this, and then yeah, plus when you didn't mention the coach's name properly. It can blow out of proportion so quickly. So be mindful of what you post. And I think it's very important, especially now we're talking to youngsters. It might look cool to say Friday, we're having our drinks. No, just don't. I'm this old and I've never even said, hey, it's happening and there's drinks. No, it's not necessary. It's really not necessary. So be mindful, have tact. Imagine yourself a princess or a queen, and you don't want everybody knowing your business. And it's nice like that because you always are the mystery.
it's true. They can't even ask why. Why?
Yeah.
They can't.
Oh, why?
Because
They don't know.
They don't know. And it's nice. It's really, really nice.
And you might think it's a small aspect of it, but when the scouts have this template of what they look for in a player, social media is there.
Yes.
They even have something called a religion.
Yeah.
And I had to ask, but why is religion important? And the one scout made an example. He said, Eden Hazard, we all know Eden Hazard.
Yeah.
So Eden Hazard, before he went to Chelsea, he was supposed to sign for Norwich. He went to Norwich, he saw the facilities and they liked him and all of that. But now, Eden Hazard practices Islam. And the closest mosque was 40 kilometers away. And he needed to attend mosque on a daily basis. And that's actually why he couldn't sign for Norwich, because there was no mosque that was close to the stadium, which I thought was very interesting. But it was there. Religion is there in the scouting templates. They check your religion and they check if you can fit at this specific club. So there's a lot, guys, that goes into it. There's a lot that's taken into account by the scouts. It's not just about how good you are. Finally, as we wrap up, George, from your experiences having played for all these clubs, what are some of the common mistakes maybe that footballers or young players make that they don't realize, that maybe this is not how it should be?
It's a very difficult question.
That's a very interesting question.
Because there are a lot.
Yeah.
That's a very, very. I think we must go to Lebo.
I can answer some of them.
Please do.
Please help us,
Um,
Lebo, from your
because-
experience, having been in the industry for
Yeah.
almost
It's a
2
long
decades.
list.
With lots of personal experience, of course.
Yes.
But
Jeez.
he's still thinking about it. I think some of the biggest mistakes that I see is they think it's going to last.
Aha, that's a good one.
They think it's going to last. And I'm with George now as a colleague, and he's just signed for Sundowns. But he thinks I've signed a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, whatever. No, there's no 10 years, but forever contract.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be there, the star, I'm going to be paid, and they become restless. But George can walk down the stairs, trip and fall. You find that he doesn't have medical aid, insurance. His family, poor wife, has nothing.
Touch wood, please.
Touch wood. They touch damn wood. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But the common mistakes is that I see, because the minute they think it's going to last, they become laxed in planning, financial planning, stability, and the minute financial planning goes out the window, trust me that then it filters through everything else. Motsoeli accident kausane, they get into a car accident, they don't have insurance. The car is written off, someone else is injured, third party needs to come in, who's paying for it? And it sounds like a lot of things that I'm saying, but
These are things that happen.
It's reality.
yeah, that's one of the biggest thing that filters down for me.
I think I can mention another point is thinking that you've already made it.
Yes, I actually had that.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you know that goes back to you being complacent as well on the field of play.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what Lebo said
Yeah.
when you just signed the contract and you're like, okay, I'm here now. You know, I've made it.
And see,
This
that's
is
when the
it.
work starts.
That's when the work starts. You know, that's when you actually need to start pushing yourself
Yeah.
because you don't know who's watching. You might get that next contract that takes you to Paris,
Yeah.
to Germany,
Yeah.
to Holland. You know, so those are the small things. You know, the little things that you need to take into consideration. You know.
And attitude.
Yeah.
A lot of players that I see, I mean, there's one massive player at the moment, according to everyone, that was, how do I say that without mentioning him? So he was here in the country, was supposed to play, and then he was injured. Post-match interviews, I'm live on television, I'm supposed to do an interview. He is here. So I said, please, they're screaming in my ear. And he says, no, I didn't play. But with the attitude, no, I didn't play. I'm like, hold on, it's not really about you. It's about the millions of youngsters that want to be exactly where you are. You switch sides, people worship you. So your input on how the boys played today goes a long way. And I find that they have so much attitude. I've arrived and so I must act. No, guys.
Yeah.
Still be open to the media because we are also bridging the gap between George and the fans.
And also respect your profession.
Yeah.
Respect the club you play for. Respect the tournament that you play for.
Yeah.
Engen Knockout Challenge. If you're playing at the Engen Knockout Challenge, they tell you wear your caps all the time. You all have caps. Just respect that. George is a perfect example. We all know that he's moved from Chiefs to Sundowns. Chiefs fans felt he should have stayed. He could have won the league with Chiefs. He wanted to stay. But you've never said a bad word. You've never said a bad word about Chiefs. You've never gone to gloat now that Sundowns has won the league title because I think you respect your profession and you respect the clubs that you played for.
But it also goes back to what I've been taught. You know, all those life skills that you know, it's everything that goes along that way when I was a young boy to where I am today. So all of those played a massive role.
True.
So the last one before we wrap up. We don't want to scare you guys. But this one is very important because we don't want to scare you. We don't want to make this so difficult. We need to tell you about the good things also. George, how rewarding is football if you use the tools that we give you in life properly? How rewarding is it? I mean, can it reward you? Can it get you a better life and a healthy life and all of that?
Yes. Yeah. Only if you do things by the book. Discipline, respect, you know, look after your family. I still go home till today. I see my grandparents. My grandparents are still alive, guys. Crazy.
That's
you know, I see my friends.
You still friends with the same guys that you were with?
My childhood friends.
Yeah.
There's 4 I can mention. They're there. You know, my family, very rewarding, you know, properties, cars.
It's nice.
It's nice if you work hard for it. If you work hard for it,
You know.
and you make sure that you are disciplined on and off the field, it will be very rewarding, guys. Even Bongani Kumalo told us that. Lebo will give you the last word, just to our players out there that are joining us for the first time at the Engen Knockout Challenge. They will
The
be
pressure.
They will be on the field of play next year. We're looking forward to seeing our future Banyana stars. What message do you have for them?
Oh my goodness. I didn't prepare that one.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
There's a big paragraph, very long.
Where's my book? All right, the message I have for the future stars that are going to come through, the future Banyanas that are going to wear the green and gold, be yourselves. Passion will come out on the field. Don't try and be anybody else, and trust your abilities to be the best. You know, don't question yourself. If you came in that tournament and the knockout challenge knowing kwena number 10, then be that number 10. Even if you see Balisa that might look like everybody's got their eyes on, don't worry. Remember what we said. Someone's always got their eyes on you.
Yeah. Palisa, we look forward to seeing you on the field of play. I have never said that name on the Engen Knockout Challenge.
I
so
know.
That's a good one, eh?
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing a lot of you on the field of play. We're going to have to leave it there. It's been a wonderful session. We probably even went over time here, but we're going to take your questions now. You've been sending them. We're going to answer your questions, and please make sure that you tag us on social media. It's Engen Play Apart. It is Engen a Play On. All those hashtags and those Twitter accounts that I've given you, please let's use them wisely, guys, and let's spread the word. But thank you to an alumni of the Engen Knockout Challenge, George Maluleka. He played here. His journey started right here with us, and somebody else whose journey is starting with us now is Lebo Motsoeli. I'm sure will be with us for a very long time, because women's football will be a permanent fixture at the Engen Knockout Challenge. So thank you, guys, and have a good one.
Thank you.